I used to cop a lot, but never cop no drop. Hold mics like ponytails tight.
You are now listening to the Orange and Blue Crew.
Here are your hosts, King JJ and AnytimeKnicks.
God damn, that intro never gets old. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to another episode of the Orange and Blue Crew. I'm JJ. We can call me, I might as well be a leprechaun right now with all these chains I got on. Happy St. Patrick's Day to all those that celebrate. And I'm joined by the one and only, the man, the myth, the legend, AnytimeKnicks. How we doing, Jay? Your mic is off. We are already having some unlucky problems. That didn't. There you go. There you go. You good.
There we go. Yeah. I'm good, bro. I'm chilling, man. It's Sunday. Happy St. Patty's Day. You know, I got on my green Knicks shorts, man. Shout out to the Knicks community, man. I'm outside. Well, I'm not outside, but I'll be outside later on with the family and all of that. Probably go to dinner or something. Regular Sunday.
Best community in the world, hands down. And it definitely showed last night. It was a banger game. It came down to the very end. Gritty, tough, physical. Knicks got it done against the Kings. 98-91 was the final score. Give me your thoughts on this one.
This was a much needed win, man. I'm actually pretty glad that we went out and got the win. Shout out to Eddie Presti, man. When we went on Eddie Presti's space, I definitely predicted us going on a nice little win streak. A lot of people told me that I was a little crazy for that. But it's actually happening, man. Shout out to OG, even though he's a little bit hobbled still. He's still getting back to 100%. But I really like what I'm seeing from the Knicks, man. This was a much-needed win. Like, we owed Sacramento this game. Like, we went to Sacramento. I think we lost the last, 2-3 times we went there, or just in general when we played against them, we lost. So this was a much-needed win, and it's going to be the same thing for Golden State. Not to chime in too much on that. But, yo, that Sacramento Knicks game was a hard-fought win, guys. Like, this was a very tough win. You know, we weren't getting many calls. It had a playoff atmosphere. Like, our records are pretty equal. Like, you know what I'm saying? Our team kind of is like similar to theirs. Like, even though we're hobbled, we're not 100%. But the way the team is currently constructed, it's like we kind of match up really, really well against them on both ends of the floor. And I'm glad the Knicks was able to pull out this win, man. Again, like, we had a big performance from Jalen Brunson. I like what I seen from Hart. Shout out to my guy Alec Burks, man. AB, he put
knew
up
it was
numbers,
coming.
man.
I knew it was coming.
Shout out
God
to Alec
damn
Burks, man.
I
That's
knew it was coming.
Yo, it's only one game, guys, so I'm not saying go crazy, but I like what I see from Alec Burks. I think that he finally read the room. He understands, like, okay, Tibbs is gonna take my minutes if I don't start playing the right way, and he's responding well. Yo, shout out to Tibbs, man, because he knows how to get to these players, man. I like what I'm seeing, man.
Tibbs is definitely a player's coach, but he's much more of an aggressive player's coach than he is about, one of those soft coaches in the NBA. But going back to this Knicks and Kings game from last night, the one person that really impressed me was my boy Hart. Hart is proving that this man, honestly, he should be the starting center. I'm not sure what more you need to see. I don't think Mitch is coming back to the playoffs. And you can't play Mitch as a starter when he's had no experience in the regular season this year since the injury. If he's coming back directly for the playoffs, you have to start Hartenstein. Did you see what this man did to Sabonis last night?
Listen, shout out to Hart, man. Shout out to Ab and Brutus over at Your Take Knicks, the pregame space. I pretty much predicted it.
Don't forget
I predicted it.
Don't forget our
no,
Smitty.
shout out to Smitty too, but Smitty, he stepped away for a little while. But yo, I definitely called it in the pregame space. I said, yo, Hart is gonna be the guy to guard Sabonis in the paint. You feel me? He has the lateral foot movement to stay in front of that guy. Shout out to Sabonis because he is a great footwork big. Like, that's really how he gets most of his buckets. He has great footwork and he knows how to get to his spots. So shout out to Hart and the Knicks team defense, because that's what really slowed him down. It wasn't just Hart. Like, they kept bodies on him. They made it tough for him, especially in the third and the fourth quarter. I really like what I saw from the Knicks defense. And that was another point that I brought up that would actually get us to win. The Knicks defense was strong last night, man. I like the way they defended De'Aaron Fox. I like the way that they defended Sabonis, man. we had made some big plays on the defensive end. So shout out to the Knicks for, having that identity, man. And shout out to the coach Tom Thibodeau for instilling it in these guys. It was a low scoring game, man. I kind of had us scoring a bit more points, but at the end of the day, I was still right. The Knicks got the W.
They needed this one really badly too, because you're playing against more. This one is much more of a deeper run caliber playoff team. This isn't like the Indiana Pacers who you'll beat in round one. This isn't like the Orlando Magic who don't have the playoff experience for it. We lost Jay for a second. So I'm just going to solo lay out myself for this. This is the type of Nick team. This is the type of playoff team that is playing this is a great Kings team. I am not denying that. This is one of my favorite teams to watch in the NBA. I enjoy the way they play. Up, Jay's back, and we lost him again. There he is. Anyway, yeah, like I was saying, this is a very good playoff team. The Kings are good, and I really like what I see out of them. So at the end of the day, I can't really say I'm shocked by this. I had the Knicks winning this game, and I'm very proud that I was right. I missed the first half of the game, but I've been watching the highlights lately, and it seems like the Knicks just started scoring right from the get-go, which they absolutely had to do. So I was very thrilled with the way they played last night. Gritty, tough, physical. They did exactly what they needed to do.
Major fact, man. You got to go out and get these wins, man. We in the last days of the season, the Knicks have 15 to 16 games left, I believe.
Yeah, I believe there's 17 games left in the season.
Okay, 17. Okay, so we got a ways to go, man. And I think the Bucks won today, man. So I was kind of upset about that. Bobby Portis had a pretty good game, but the standings could very well change in these last 17, 16 games, however many games is left for the top 5 teams in the East. I definitely think that the Knicks can still get the 3rd seed. I don't know if the 2nd seed is within reach because Milwaukee just won today. So, like they're starting to pick up. But this West Coast trip is so important. This West Coast trip is so important. And a lot of people already had the Knicks at 2-2. Like that was their best case scenario. We've already won 2 of those games. So I'm definitely hoping that, Steph takes the night off. And then, we go into Golden State. When is it? Tomorrow or Tuesday?
Tomorrow night.
Going to Golden State.
Tuesday, I think, is Denver, or Wednesday's Denver.
Wednesday is Denver.
Wednesday's Denver.
We're going to be going to Golden State, man. I hope Steph Curry, stays out. That'll make the game easier for us, but it's still the NBA. So you can never really say for sure. Like, you still got to play the game. You still got to go out and get the win. But I believe when you have a guy like a Jalen Brunson, when you have an OG Anunoby, when you have a healthy Hart, when you have a supporting cast like Josh Hart, Dante DiVincenzo, Precious Achiuwa, I just think that the Knicks are pretty deep. And as we get our main hitters back, we get even deeper. And shout out to Bojan and Alec Burks because they definitely bolstered us offensively last night. I appreciate that. They both. Alec Burks kind of started off hot. Bogey, it took him a little while. He started getting hot late in the second, going into the third. So definitely was a much needed bench performance from those 2 guys, man. I really appreciate that. And I'm hoping we continue that on the road. The Warriors aren't that big of a team, so I think that we can use our size. Shout out to Jericho Sims. I'm hoping we see more of him, as we getting healthy. I like what I saw from Precious, although he did get bullied around by Sabonis. He put up a good fight, and he stayed humble. He played him smart. He didn't get no ticky-tack fouls. He wasn't, gambling, reaching in for steals. He played him straight up and tried his best to stay in front of him. And that's all you can ask because Sabonis is a talent. He is an all-star. He's a 20-10 guy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very impressed with how Hart played against Sabonis. I kind of expected Sabonis to have a bit of an off night, but I'm more impressed the fact that the Knicks are doing this against one of the best big men in basketball without their 2 best big men. That is what really impresses me even further, and that's what gets me even more excited.
Hey, yo, for real, I don't really like how Mitch guards up against Sabonis. I think Hart was the better matchup. Like, the last time we played against the Kings, we had Mitch, and he cooked Mitch just off the offensive work. Mitch is still a defensive stalwart, but there were times when I was like, man, we need somebody to be able to stay in front of this guy. And Mitch, he just for whatever reason he had a tough time staying in front of Sabonis. So I'm definitely glad that when iHeart gets more healthier, when Mitch comes back, like Tibbs should play them situationally. And he should play them to their strengths. Last night was a night for iHeart. So like if Mitch was fully healthy, if I was Tibbs, I would only run Mitch when Sabonis isn't on the floor. That's what I would do if I was Tibbs. And I feel like Tibbs have been making those small adjustments. So again, I'm gonna keep praising him for what I'm seeing, but it's still the postseason that gotta come, man. We gotta get right for the postseason.
I agree. The postseason is gonna be very important for this team, especially because this is a make or break season for Tom Thibodeau.
Mm-hmm.
Because is he on the hot seat? F no. He is not on the hot seat. However, this is the Knicks' best chance of winning a championship in a long time. And that excites me a lot. So, yeah, again, huge win for the Knicks. They got to keep winning games like this. And then they got Golden State and Denver. So, I'm excited, as should a lot of Knicks fans be. And you want to know what should be, and you want to know what should excite you the most? What should excite you the most is the fact that our spark plug is back. OG Anunoby is back, and the Knicks look great with this guy on the team. I'm so thrilled to have this guy back in a Knicks jersey, that he's suited up, he's back on the court, and he has already put in such a huge influence to this Knicks roster. The way that they've been playing lately, it truly is a sight to watch. It's something special to see.
How concerned are you about OG's elbow?
Not at all. The way that he keeps playing through it, I have no concerns for him. I think he's fine.
Okay. Because I'm pretty much with you on that. I see a lot of people on the timeline. Shout out to the Knicks Twitter community. There's a lot of people that feel like we should probably sit OG, and I just for me, I'm gonna run him, man. One thing that I gotta point out, and I think it was Tony. Shout out to Thanos in New York, man. I think he pointed this out. Like the injury that OG had was like elbowitis. So basically, that surgery they removed like some type of debris or some shit or bone marrow, whatever the case may be. So like he can't re-injure that. Like he can't really have that same injury. So I think that he's just dealing with soreness and getting back into game shape and getting comfortable. And I think that's why his shot looks a little off. And that's why he's not really looking to shoot, because he knows that. But I think it's only a matter of time before we see OG be OG again. He can still knock down the three. As you can see, it the very first play of the Knicks Kings game, he got a dunk. So like I think people should really pay attention to the game and kind of steer away from their feelings. I think that people are just overly sentimental overly sensitive to the fact of injury, because we've been so hampered with injuries, man.
Yeah. And again, I'm tired of having to say this, but I have to say it again. What was the main reason that you know what? I'm not going to say you're going to say it, because I said it too many times. I was saying it like 5 times on the last show. I said it in the space. I'm tired of saying this, so I'm going to let you say it. What was the main reason and the trio of players the Knicks were missing during the majority of those top tier games that the Knicks played against the top tier teams?
I'm sorry, say that again. What are you asking?
Who was the trio of players the Knicks were missing almost every time they tried to play a top tier team in the past month? I'm tired of saying
OG, Mitch, Randall. OG, Randall, Mitch.
There
Randall,
you go.
Mitch, OG. It's the same three, man. For
different
different reasons, man.
I've had to say this. I've had to say this so many times, and it's so infuriating every time I say it. Thankfully, I only have to say Mitch and Randall. I don't got to say OG, Randall, Mitch anymore. But yeah, looking at the way that OG played last night was not his greatest performance, a whopping 2 points in 33 minutes. But
I like the defense that we saw from him, man.
Yeah,
he got a nice stop on Sabonis late in the game. I believe it was the third quarter. Like we just held up defensively, man, and that's what we are. That's our identity. So I believe, even though he only scored 2 points himself, the way OG affects the game defensively, it absolutely turns into offense.
I
So shout
agree.
out to him, man.
Yeah, his offensive numbers are not the greatest as of late, but that being said, he is coming off an injury. So I can't really say I'm too shocked by it, but I mean, if that's the case, it is what it is, and we'll be fine. So nothing too much to worry about there. His defense is where it needs to be, and that's where I was more concerned because he is coming off of a pretty bad injury. So yeah, I'm very happy that he's back. And there's another player on my mind that has really been making me feel good to be a Knicks fan. And this guy has been getting dragged through the mud for whatever reason. And it makes me sick to my stomach as a Knicks fan and as a Nova fan to see this man get so much disrespect. Well, guess what? The guy is basically averaging a triple-double the last 4 games he's played. I'm tired of the slander. It's time for Josh Hart's appreciation. I'm tired of it. It's done.
Shout out to Josh Hart, man. Yo, he's definitely been playing good as of late for different reasons. Some nights he'll give you scoring. Some nights he'll give you 10 plus rebounds. Some nights he'll give you fucking 8, 9 assists. Yo, Josh is all heart, man. That's my little slogan for him. Josh is all heart, man. I just wish that he was a better shooter. That's my only gripe with him, man. He
I
fucking
don't
sucked
blame
with the
you.
shooting, but everything else, we all know that this is what Josh Hart is going to give us. He's going to give you maximum effort. He's going to dive on the floor. He's going to run the floor. He's going to fucking make winning plays. And I definitely appreciate him, while Mitch is out because he's been helping the Knicks stay a great defensive rebounding team. Ihart is a good rebounder. Precious is a good rebounder, but Josh Hart has been leading the way all season, even when Mitch was healthy. So, he's been that one constant. And, the more you defensive rebound and get second chance opportunities, offensive rebounds, the more chances you have to score. And in the playoffs, that is really important, because everything is hyper contextualized in the playoffs. You feel me? Guys are gonna stay home. Guys are gonna defend harder. Guys are gonna run the floor and dive. So when you've been doing that all season, it's second nature, and it rubs off, man. So when you got a dog like OG, when you got a fucking spark plug like Josh Hart, when you have a fucking offensive dynamo like Jalen Brunson, and you have the versatile beast in Julius Randle, the defensive anchor, and Mitchell Robinson. Yo, I'm getting so hyped talking about my Knicks right now, man. Y'all don't understand. To the people that's listening, I can't wait till we get healthy. I want to go crazy, but I can't wait till we get healthy, man. Yo, I'm not scared of no team except maybe Boston.
Listen, Jay. You're gonna have to face the reality. iHeart's gonna be the starting center, man. iHeart's gonna be the starting center. It only makes sense. It only makes sense. This guy's been so good consistently. How would he not start in the playoffs? Honest to God.
Look, I'm gonna keep it real with you. This is not my take. This is just what I know to be true. Tibbs loves Mitch. When Mitch gets an injury, when he comes back, Tibbs starts him. So that's why I believe Mitch is going to start the minute he's cleared to play. Tibbs loves that kid, man. He's literally the last of the babies. Deuce, him and Deuce. But, Tibbs loves Mitch. And I think even if Mitch is on a minutes restriction, we're going to see Mitch start. I do believe that. Shout out to iHeart. Yo, he held the fucking fort down.
What more does iHeart have to do? What more?
He's done so much for us. And this is not me saying yo, shit on iHeart. What I'm saying is I have revisionist history and I follow patterns. Tibbs is a guy that, his rhyme has a reason and he doesn't really stray away from things, as far as starters and, I predicted it last night in the pregame space. I said we was going to see a lot of Josh Hart and Bojan, and that's what happened. A lot of people wanted to see Jericho. So I've been paying attention to Tibbs for 3-4 years now. Mitch is going to start the minute he comes back. Book it.
Understandable. I hope you're wrong. I want to see iHeart. That's my guy. But back to Josh Hart. I mean, Shout out my boy Cousins. This guy has been talking the absolute most about Josh Hart. And guess what, man? It's finally starting to pay off. I loved Josh Hart as soon as we got him. The fact that we got him for Cam Reddish and a compensatory pick.
Oh man,
Like,
Cam
what?
Reddish. Shout out to the Cam Hive,
Get
man.
out of here.
Nah,
bro.
psych.
Get out of here. How are the
Oh,
New
man.
Orleans, how are the Portland Trailblazers that stupid?
Hey, listen, man.
forgot he was a
Shout out to
Trailblazer.
Chauncey Billups, you know, a former Knick, man. He looked out for his people, man.
That's a goal right there. I love Chauncey Billups.
Yeah, man. Yo, what is Cam Reddish doing? Is he injured? Because you know, I don't see him play with the Lakers. Is like, what's going on with Cam Reddish?
The dude fell off a cliff. Moving on.
Oh man.
So in some other NBA news, the Miami Heat snuck past the Detroit Pistons, and now everyone's saying the Heat are back. Yep, moving on. Next topic. Anyway, that's
Yo,
basically
fuck
all
the
we
Heat,
got.
man.
Facts. Fuck
Man. Oh, how they fall. The Heat are fucking terrible. Listen, I ain't gonna lie to you, JJ. It's certain things that's gonna trigger me. If you bring up the Knicks, of course, that's my love, my love, my life, my everything, the reason that I'm doing this content. But if you bring up the Nets or the Heat, yo, I'm gonna get activated, man. I'm gonna get activated. So when I hear the Heat, yo, we could do a whole show about them, like just talking shit.
Hey, maybe hey,
Oh,
you
man.
know something. If only we would have beat them that playoff series, because then we could have 100% could have done that.
We
I would have
absolutely
loved
should have beat them.
100%, but we'll get into that later. Honestly, I hope we do see them in the playoffs. But here's the thing: we're going to save the shit talking till after we beat them, because we tried it last year and it did not pay off.
Team is different this year, baby. We don't got no youngins, man. They shipped
I
off the
hope
kids.
so.
We got a lot of shooting. We got a lot of shooting. Miami barely outshot us in that playoff series, man. Yo, we might have to do it. Yeah, we might have to do it. We might have to do a live stream strictly dedicated to that Knicks Heat series, man. Because man, if we had the team we had right now today, last year, oh my god.
Knicks Heat debriefing 2023. That's a good idea. You know what would also be a good idea? If we don't take our next opponent lightly and we don't play them short-staffed, they're actually getting almost a full Knick roster. It's that time of the day. It is time for Know Your Foe, Golden State Warriors edition. Where have we heard this before? Oh, the last time when they put belt to ass against us. However, we were without the trio and Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, it was one game, man. It was one game. Yo, shout out to the Golden State Warriors. They did what they were supposed to do. They came to the Garden and they showed out, man. Yo, Steph Curry was supposed to be a Knick, man. Let's be real here. Shout out to Steph and his legendary career,
Eddie
man.
mentioned that to me.
He was supposed to be in orange and blue, man.
Eddie mentioned that to me. Yeah, he did. It sucks. Eddie mentioned that to me. He said that, oh my God, who was the guy that cost the Knicks the Steph Curry pick? Was it Chris Chott? Like, who was it? Because he told me this on one of our shows. I might have to go back.
Nah, the Golden State, they just stole him, bro. We they took him 2 picks or the pick before.
Yeah,
I can't remember
that.
off top, but it was like they had the pick before us, man. Yeah.
I'm trying
story
to
of
think
the Knicks history, man.
We did this during our Knicks Warriors recap or our Knicks Warriors preview. I'm trying to think of who it was that cost the Knicks that cost them that pick that they had. It wasn't Tracy McGrady. All right, this is it right here. I found it. All right, Chris Duhon. That's who it was. Chris Duhon costed the Knicks Steph Curry.
Shout out to Chris Duhon, man. He was a serviceable point guard, man. I can't shit on Chris Duhon, man.
The man cost
I rooted for him. JJ. Yo, shout out to the Knicks fans that rooted for Chris Duhon, man.
Man, I wasn't even born when Chris Duhon was playing for the Knicks.
Yo, stop lying, man. Chris
all right,
Duhon
maybe. All right, maybe I was like a 2.
He was young. He was real young.
I was like 2, 3. I was the age of your son. That's what I was.
Wow. Shout out to my son, man.
God damn, I'm old.
Room, causing havoc.
Love to see that. Just like You want to talk about causing havoc? Shout out our boy State last night, man.
Yo, shout
Oh
out to my brother,
my
man. Shout out to the state of
God.
New York Knicks, man. Y'all see him merched up, man. Shout out to my guy State, man. I think he actually live streaming right now. Shout out to Eru. Shout out to Chef John, I think it is. Yeah. Shout out to State, Chef John, and Eru, man. And the Memphis Grizzlies fan. I forget his name, but I follow dude, man. He cool, man. Shout out to State, man. He working, man. That's my brother, man.
Their
That's why I
podcast,
wanted to wear the merch to support because I can't come outside today, man.
their
I got to
podcast
be
is
with the fan.
scheduled. The podcast scheduled for 9:15, I believe.
Oh, okay. So I'll definitely tune in, and then might have to pop in. You feel me? Might have to jump in on the live stream. Give a little take.
I'm definitely gonna be watching. Absolutely. I haven't watched one of State's shows before, so this is gonna be new to me.
It's definitely good. I was there for the first one. I was there for obviously. I was literally there for MSG, man. Shout out to Anthony MSG. Shout out to my guy State, man.
What's the significance with Anthony Donahue? Because I still haven't figured it out. Does he work for MSG?
He's a super fan, bro. Like he has a story. He was a Knick fan, and I don't want to talk too much about it because it's a very sensitive topic. But he lost a family member. She was a Knick fan as well, and that's how I came to know of Anthony Donahue. But he's literally ingratiated in Knicks culture, man. Like, shout out to all of the Knicks content creators out there. But I had to learn this too, man. I had to get put on about him too. Anthony MSG is a veteran in this shit, man. He's been doing this for over 20 years, man. Shout out to Tony. Shout out to Tony and Phil Portal. They did the watch party and stuff like that. That's the type of thing that MSG was doing back in 2004, 2005, or something like that. He's really ingratiated in Knick fandom and culture. So I want to give him his praise, man. Do your research on NMSG, man. That guy's a cool guy. I'm glad that I got to meet him. I definitely appreciate his wisdom. He is a Knick historian, man. He literally named all the coaches off top. He was saying trades off the top of the dome. Like, that's the type of shit that I aspire to. Like, I could do that from a certain standpoint, but like he was able to go back, bro. Like he's definitely somebody to be respected in the Knick community, man. I appreciate that guy, man. He definitely he did a big thing showing up the state and getting on the podcast. That's a good look for Knick content creators, man. And I hope it opened the floodgates, honestly, because we all will benefit from that. So shout out to NMSG.
Yeah, I hope so too. I love it. I'm starting to gain a lot of respect for this guy, Ant Donahue, because that's low-key starting to become the face of. He's currently the face of Knicks Twitter right now. But enough about that. Let's get back to State for a minute. This guy went off the rails last night. Let's just get into that right now. I'm taking this banner off. We going.
Oh man, let's talk about it.
Yeah, because you know what? We're at 28 minutes. We got plenty of time. We're gonna come up with a new segment called the Drunk State Recap about what happened last night. Let's try to summarize this.
Yo, it stayed in the building, man. We gotta get him up here so he can talk for himself, man.
I hope so. I hope State is somewhere because he gotta explain for his actions the crimes he was committing last night to the Knick community. Yeah, that guy State's a legend.
Definitely, man. Shout out to State, man. That's my guy, man. Good guy, man. Good guy, man.
If he wants to hop in for a little bit, be my guest because you got State. I love you, but you got some explaining to do about last night. Oh my God. You got Lloyd Banks in the building twice.
Shout out to Lloyd Banks, man. PLK, Blue Hefner, Queens in the building. I'm from Brooklyn, man, but I was at Queens Center Mall, yesterday. I was out there enjoying the vibes, Cheesecake Factory. Went to go buy my son some sneakers, regular family stuff on a Saturday, man. Brooklyn is kind of dry right now. So I'm like, man, let's go to Queens. Let's go to the mall out in Queens, see what's going on. It was a vibe.
Good. Truth of the matter of that, when it comes to this whole Lloyd Banks thing, at first, I had no idea who that was. But then I put on a few of those songs. I'm like, how the fuck did I forget about this guy? Turns out there's 5 Lloyd Banks songs on my playlist.
Rap
And I'm
extraordinaire, bro. He is a fucking rap. He's a rapper's rapper. You feel me? Like
Guy
your
made
favorite
music-
rapper's favorite rapper. Like,
guy
that's
made
the type
music
of
with
rapper he
Eminem.
is.
Guy made music with Eminem. That's
Yeah, he
all
was
I
G-ing
needed.
it. Yeah. He came in under 50. 50 came in under M. So of
That
course,
is all I needed to hear. But yeah,
Mhm.
shout out to Lloyd Banks. Shout out to State. Billy Nix last night. I felt like I was watching Judge Judy the way that he was running that space.
Shout out to
And
the OG Billy, man.
I had been perfect in Nick Twitter spaces. I took my first L last night. When I mentioned that Carmelo Anthony was not a superstar before he got traded to the Knicks.
Ooh, yo, let me give a take on that. Let me
Please
give
do.
a take on that.
Please
man.
do.
Look,
Please
yo,
do.
Look, I'm gonna look in the camera too. Yo, listen, I was not a Carmelo Anthony fan before he became a Knick, but yo, he literally went at it with LeBron for Rookie of the Year, bro. He got robbed. He was supposed to win Rookie of the Year. Yo, he went on to put up like fantastic performances as a Denver Nugget. Did he take them to the Western Conference Finals? I believe one time.
What year?
It leaves me because I wasn't a Denver fan. I wasn't a Carmelo Anthony fan. My god brother was. Shout out to my brother Josh, man. But yo, for real, bro. Like when you said that, I was like, damn, I ain't really fuck with Melo. But to say he not a star, a superstar before he got to the Knicks, that's a little bit outlandish, bro. You got to give that man his credit, bro. He was a top 5 talent the minute he stepped in the league, bro.
Man, I wasn't around for Denver Mello. I'm not gonna lie. I was only around for Nick Mello. That's just the truth.
So you kind of gotta like go and dig in the crate. So you gotta listen to the OGs on that one, man. You gotta, like people that was there. You feel me? Like I watched Melo come into the league. I could go back and tell. I remember him sliding in the draft because fucking Darko Milicic went to the Pistons.
Now that was hilarious. That was hilarious.
Yo,
yeah,
like that draft is imprinted in people's mind. That was one of the best drafts ever. You feel me? So like Carmelo, I feel like for different reasons, Melo never really fully got his respect. But in my opinion, I feel like he squandered his Knick tenure. That's just my opinion, and some of the things that are out of his control. But like I wish he would have waited to come to the Knicks. I wish the Knicks wouldn't have traded for him. I can't blame him for that. But I wish he would have just told the Knicks, like, yo, don't trade for me. I'm going to come in the summertime. And I think we would have had a better Knick tenure from Melo, man. But we traded away the whole roster. Shout out to Deej. We traded away David Lee. We traded away all of the pieces, all of the versatile young pieces that would have went crazy next to Melo. Can you imagine a lineup with Carmelo Anthony, Wilson Chandler, Danilo Gallinari? Talk about positionless basketball. Talk about having a team full of wings that could play fucking 2 through 4, a guard. Yo, Wilson Chandler used to guard centers. Like, shout out to Wilson Chandler, man. David Lee. David Lee was a power forward, but he could play both positions. He could play the 4 and the 5. If you put Melo with fucking David Lee, Danilo Gallinari, Wilson Chandler, and then Raymond Felton at the then you got the bench. You got fucking You got not J.R. Smith. You got what is this guy? Yeah, you got J.R. and you got Shump. Oh my god.
Jesus.
It just would have been what a time to be a Knicks fan, man. Yo, shout out to the Tape Knicks, man. Shout out to the Knicks Tape Knicks, man. But yeah, my mind is going back and I'm starting to think about how I felt being a young Knicks fan at the time, man. Those was good times, man. But as an adult, I definitely feel like, the Knicks organization and Melo, they kind of squandered that a little bit. But yo, shout out to Melo, man. Shout out to the Knicks, man.
Yeah, I mean, and the fun thing I want to mention about this whole State thing is the fact that first of all, you had your Alec Burks take, which said State ablaze, which is exactly what I expected. I rolled my eyes because I knew you were going to talk about Alec Burks last time. I knew it from the very beginning.
I had to because he had a good game. And I wasn't there for the whole space, so I don't know if anybody gave him his credit. But, I really just, I just was giving guys a little hell. He definitely played well. So I was gonna mention him regardless, but I ain't gonna lie. I've been pumping Alec Burks like being a good acquisition. So when he has a good game, I gotta give him his praise because I actually been giving him a lot of flack on the timeline. I believe in being unbiased and calling out players that you're a fan of, man. When his first tenure as a Knick, he was pretty fucking good for us. He just was overused. Now he's gonna have a lesser role, and he kind of got to figure it out. And I think him and Tibbs is finding that middle ground. Like when he came from the Pistons, he just was chucking up too many shots. It wasn't efficient. It just looked bad. But the game that I saw from Alec Burks last night, that's the type of player we need him to be. Somebody that could come in and just make smart basketball plays. You don't got to force shots. You don't even need to take a lot of shots. You just need to play the right way. And I definitely feel like he's starting to get the memo because he realized like Tibbs is yanking his fucking minutes. You know how embarrassing that is as a vet to lose minutes to a young guy? Shout out to Deuce because he definitely deserves it and he's earning it. But at the same time, Alec Burks is a vet. He's been on playoff teams. He's been in a playoff atmosphere. He knows what it takes to win. He's talented. So he's going to want to be a part of things. And I think that him and Tibbs is starting to find that middle ground of him scoring and facilitating. I like what I saw from him. Very good performance. Shout out to Alec Burks.
I agree. For once, I will give Alec Burks his flowers. The dude played good. All right. I'll say, all right, there, I said it. Then you had the guy that said that Deuce McBride he was knocking Deuce McBride for one bad game. Let me tell you something right now. I will not stand for any disrespect to Deuce McBride. Zero. Done. Cut that person off permanently.
Deuce is my guy, man. I wanted the Knicks to draft Deuce, man. I've been watching him since the draft process. No, correction, since halfway through his college season in the draft process. I definitely wanted the Knicks to draft him. I always compared him to a Marcus Smart. Like I always said, like he's a more offensive minded Marcus Smart. Because he actually can shoot. It just didn't translate early. Like when he went to the G League, he played well. He shot phenomenally. It's just that in the playoffs, he could not. I mean, in the regular season, he just, I think Deuce is all about confidence. And because he never had a steady role, we never actually saw him build that confidence, man, because he had IQ. He had Derrick Rose. And now, Jalen Brunson and those guys. Like he had a different combination of guards that just were ahead of him because they got drafted higher. They played well, so it's kind of like he only played situationally, but Deuce is starting to shine. The one thing that he definitely has to work on is his shot creation and his dribble package. He definitely has to work on breaking players down because it was glaring last night. If you really guard up on him and you cut off his lane like that little shifty move he likes to do, if he doesn't have that option, he pretty much doesn't have anything else. He's more of a catch and shoot guy offensively. So I definitely want to see Deuce work on his point guard skills, work on his footwork, his handling. He's gonna be okay, man. It's just he's just not a complete package, and that's why he's a role player. Like your role players are not fucking well-rounded guys. They have one or two or maybe three things that they do really well, and then there's a drop off. So shout out to Deuce, man. He's gonna be okay. Tibbs has coached that guy up really well.
I agree. And that's going to do it for our state segment. Shout out our boy State for the greatest Twitter space of all time last night. That was absolutely
State, man.
That was so much fun. All right. Anyway, back to business. We pretty much did our Warriors preview, so we haven't given any predictions. What's your score prediction for the Warriors game tomorrow at the Chase Center in San Francisco?
Depending on if Steph plays, I think we still see a pretty low scoring game. So I'm going to say about 103, 97, 98. Like, of course, the Knicks. I got the Knicks winning this game if Steph doesn't play. If Steph does play, I think the game will be a little bit more high scoring. And I'm hoping, this is an optimistic hope. I hope that the Knicks win the game. We'll say 113 to 107.
All right. I think it's going to be a little bit more high scoring because the Warriors aren't that good of a defensive team. That being said, I think the Knicks are going to play a lot better than we think they are. So I'm going to go Knicks 115, Warriors 103.
Okay. That's where I'm at with it. Yeah, about 113, 115. I think the Knicks will put up. And yeah, like I said, I expect the defense to be really strong. The Knicks are bigger. I expect us to really punish the Warriors in the paint, get a lot of fast breaks going, and just build that continuity up, and just run the floor. Like the Golden State, they have a young team, but they also got a lot of vets that they're getting older. Clay, Draymond. I don't know if Andrew Wiggins is playing or not, but like you want to make those guys run. You want to run them out the gym. So yeah, man, I think the Knicks are gonna pull this one out, but you just never know. It's really contingent on if Steph plays. If Steph doesn't play, I'm expecting total annihilation.
I agree. Now, we've been doing this for a good 40-some minutes, but we are not going to be able to cover this game. And this is such a huge game for the Knicks. I feel like it needs to be mentioned. The final stop on the West Coast trip in the champ's house, the Knicks and the Nuggets on Wednesday night. This game's about to be insane. What are you thinking about this one with the Nuggets? The reigning champs of the NBA.
I'm gonna be objective, man. It's Knicks all day, but this is the reigning champs, and the Knicks are hobbled at 100% strength. I think the Knicks match up better than the Denver Nuggets when we're fully healthy, but we don't have all our guys, man. So I'm gonna give the edge to Denver, that championship pedigree. I just think that Jokic, he owes us one. We fucking whooped the Denver Nuggets ass in MSG. So going out to
awesome.
out to Denver, man, I think that they have this game circled on their calendar, man. I think this game is important to the Nuggets, man. So I expect it to be a hard fought battle. Shout out to the Denver Nuggets, man. I think the Knicks are one. I think the Knicks are going to lose it in a tough one, man. I think this is going to be one of those hard fought losses, man. But I do have another take. I think going into the latter half of the season, the very end of the season, I think the Knicks are going to win a lot of games, guys. I think as we get healthy, if we get Mitch or Randall back, either one, I think the Knicks can pull out enough games to possibly capture that third seed and finish the season strong, and end it on a high note. That's really what I expect from these Knicks, man. But it's all contingent on health, man. We got to get healthy.
I agree. Getting healthy is our biggest priority, and that is a first. Jay doesn't pick the Knicks to win. That's a first. Now, I faded them against the Cavs, and I regretted doing that immediately. Josh Hart shut me up really quick, as did Dante DiVincenzo. Shout out Big Paisan. Go.
Yeah, I had us winning that game, bro. I told you. I said I don't care. Donovan Mitchell didn't even play. But like I said, when you put Jalen Brunson on the floor against any team that has Donovan Mitchell on that roster, man, I expect great things, man. Yo, I'm glad we got that one too, man. We needed that one.
Yeah, we needed that one badly. So then you look further into this game, you see the Nuggets. You got Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic. Nikola Jokic seems like he doesn't even want to play basketball. He just chucks up shots and it magically goes in. You take a look more at this Nuggets team. You got yourselves Aaron Gordon, who's all right. Michael Porter Jr. is a decent option. On the bench, you got Justin Holiday. You got KCP. They don't really have much depth, but their starting five is just so good because of Jokic. It plays such a huge role into it. Now, look at this Knicks. The last time we played them, we absolutely thrashed them. 122-84. Beat them by almost 40. 38-point win against the reigning champs in our house. That being said, however, we're going into their building. These guys want to kick our ass bad. So we're not going to get routed, but I think this game's going to go to overtime. Nuggets are going to win 110-105.
Okay. Yeah, I don't expect it to be a high-scoring game for real, man. Jokic, he's a triple-double machine, and, some nights he can go off and put up 40, 50 points or whatever the case may be. But I don't really see the Knicks defense lacking off, man, especially if OG is in the lineup, man. We're definitely going to be locked in defensively. And, OG is that versatile, man. Yo, I think it was Eddie Presti that said this. Like, you put him on any player, and if they hot, he's gonna cool them down. It might have been Brutus, but shout out to the OGs on Knicks Twitter, man. But yeah, I think that defensively we are gonna be in the game every night as long as OG is on the floor, man, because he's that versatile. You can put OG on a Nikola Jokic and he will absolutely be effective, man. And pretty much as long as we keep whoever in check, Jamal Murray, is Jamal Murray not? He's injured, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. So if we keep the others in check, man, we should be okay, man. Denver is still great. They're still the champs, but they also dealing with a little bit of injury too. And like you said, they don't have a deep bench. So if we have another great
Never
performance
mind. I
from my
lied.
guy Alec Burks.
I lied. He's back.
Oh,
He's
okay.
playing today.
Right. So yeah, so if we scheme Jokic out the game, then we just kind of got to contain Murray and don't let him go off, man. But for real, like I was about to say, man, the Knicks bench is going to be a major factor for this Denver game, because if we could get even close to the performance that we got from Alec Burks and Bojan Bogdanovic, the Knicks are a much tougher
Stop
team.
saying his name, Jay. God damn.
Man, I got to. Shout out to my guy, Alec Burks. He's a Knick.
Couldn't have traded for anybody
We
else.
need him to be good. I have to pump that guy up. Pause. If I don't, bully him when he plays bad. State. Shout out to State. Shout out to Brutus. Go ahead.
I don't even hate Alec Burks. I just wish we could have got anybody else.
It's only because just give it time, JJ. Listen,
I tried to.
When the playoffs come around, man, he's gonna be ready. I'm willing to put money on that, and I don't like to bet, but I'm willing to put a little coin on that with anybody. Not a lot of coin. I ain't rich, but I'll put some money on that. AB gonna play better in the playoffs. I promise you that.
You and State set it up. Who's State's guy on the Knicks, if he has any?
I don't know. He just fucking hate Alec Burks, man. I don't even think he would bet on that just because he got a bad history with Alec Burks. I think he might avoid that jinx. He don't want those problems, man.
Just hearing that name pisses me off. Shout out Alec Burks, man.
Definitely, man. This was fun though. This was a fun one today, man. I like it. This was fun today.
It was great to be back as always. It's been a very good last couple of weeks for the Knicks. Now that OG's back, Randall. Now, before I do close, I'm going to take a little bit of an update on Julius Randle. I haven't really heard much of anything in the last week, so that has me a little bit concerned, but not too concerned. So take a look at injury report.
Shout out to LTK. Let's Talk Knicks. She alluded to Randall still not getting any contact. He's not receiving any contact in whatever he's doing.
He's in
control. That was the last update that I heard, and I think she might
controlled contact situations. That's what he's in.
Well, listen, man. Let me tell y'all something about MSG politics. Whatever's going on, we're not gonna know until we know. We didn't know shit about OG. The last we heard before OG came back was 3 weeks. He was back in a week. So let's just the last thing that I heard that actually had a date on it was that Brooklyn Nets game at the end of the month, or the Raptors, one of them games. So that's what I'm really hoping for. If we don't see Randall by the end of the month, then for me, I'll probably start getting a little nervous. But right now, listen, I'm drinking the company man Kool-Aid, man. I think Randall is good. I think he's healthy. I think he's just trying to wait as much as he can and stay as healthy as he can until the playoffs.
He wants to take his time. He wants to figure out what would be the right time to come back. What would be the time the Knicks need him most. I see what he's trying to do. And I respect the strategy. I do.
That's smart. And we're winning games. We're pulling games out. So is it really a need for him to rush back for real? Especially if we get Mitch. If we get Mitch, I'm totally fine with us sitting Randall for at least another 5-6 games and let him come back for maybe the last 7-8 games of the season, just so he could get a rhythm going into the playoffs. But I'm absolutely fine with him rest, especially if we get one of the two back, whoever they rest more, I'm cool with that. Whether we get Randall back and they rest Mitch to the playoffs or vice versa, I'm cool with that, man, because at the end of the day, the schedule is getting much easier, guys. Go and look at the Knicks schedule for the latter of the season, man. We're going to be okay, guys. We're going to be okay. I'll put money on that, too.
Brace yourselves, Knicks fans. It's going to be a fun next couple of weeks, and then we got the playoffs.
Yeah.
How good of a time is to be a Knicks fan right now? fucking amazing.
That's a fact. That's a fact. The vibes is definitely lit. It's immaculate. It's stupendous, man. Yo, shout out to all of the Knicks fans, man. Yo, I don't know what type of people y'all got in y'all life, but outside of literally me and my wife and my son, like we're like the only Knicks fans, like everybody else are fans of different teams, man. So like when the Knicks lose or when they play bad, my messages get flooded from family members and friends. They like to talk shit to me because I'm the only Knicks fan. So I definitely appreciate my Knicks going on a win streak and turning shit around because the narratives was about to get ugly, man. I can't be going to family dinner and everybody's like, yo, what's going on with the Knicks? I'm the only Knicks fan, wearing Knicks merch and shit at the dinner table, So shout out to the Knicks for giving me bragging rights and being able to talk as much shit as I want to all my family members. Shout out to my little brothers, man.
Yeah, shout out to the rest of the NBA that are our little brothers, and they will be our little brothers over in July. But like I said earlier, it's great to be back as always. Happy St. Patrick's Day to all those that celebrate. I hope you people that have never touched corned beef in your life enjoy it for one day, because that's
Hey, shout out to the West Indians, man. We call it bully beef. When you make some white rice, you mix up your bully beef. You cook your cabbage, you steam or you grill your cabbage down. With a little bit of oil, salt. Yo, shout out to the West Indians, man. We love some corned beef, aka bully beef, to the West Indians.
That being said, the Italians are better than the Irish. Debate a wall. Even on St. Patrick's Day, I'm going to let that sink in. Well, anyway, that's going to wrap it up for today's show. It was great to have Jay back as always. It was great to be back. We apologize. There were some difficulties with episode 5, but it should be up on YouTube, and it's always on Spotify where you can find us. All 5 episodes and this one will be up on that account. So I hope you're enjoying that. Stay in touch with my boy Jay on Twitter. You can find him Wednesdays, 10 a.m. at AnytimeKnicks. It would be nice if you didn't stream during a school day, because then I'd actually try to hop on.
You just got to grow up, man.
So
you just got to grow up and graduate school to listen to my
I only
space,
got 2
man.
more years. I only got 2 more years left. Good news is, though, I'll be on spring break next week, and I don't leave for my vacation spot till Thursday, so you will find me on his space Wednesday at 10 a.m. if I'm up for it.
It's lit. It's lit. It's lit. Come through, bro. Come through, man.
I will be there.
I definitely got to whip you into shape, man, because the OGs, they ready to get you. They ready to get you. I'm playing.
I know. It's all love here on Knicks, in this Knicks community, the greatest community on earth. God bless all of you. God bless all you Knicks fans from New York, from Jersey, from PA, from the West Coast, from Central Europe, Asia. Hell, if you're a Knicks fan in Africa, we love all of you. All you Knicks fans across the country, all you Knicks fans across the world. You're part of this family one way or another. And that's going to do it for today's show. It was an absolute blast. Have a good day, everybody. Happy St. Patrick's Day, and let's go Knicks. Good